A very good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Pleasure to have you on board. Welcome to Advancing Northeast. And before we move forward, I would like to brief about what Advancing Northeast is for those of you whoever watching who are not still aware of our initiative. So Advancing Northeast is a digital initiative by the Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region, Northeastern Council and Northeast Development Finance Corporation. And it is a one-stop solution for the youths of Northeast in the field of education, employment, and entrepreneurship. They have all the resources, all the information is available here. We have clubbed together everything from A to Z that is important for there to make informed decisions on career and livelihood. And so to serve this aim further, Advancing Northeast comes forward with various career talks and various webinars full of information to create awareness among the youths, among the curious minds about different interests and different emerging career options and any discussion that is essential to them. So here we are with yet another webinar, and this week's webinar is different because it's not a career talk, but it's a talk on a scheme. It's on the Pradhan Mantri Formalisation of Micro Food Processing Enterprises Scheme, PMFME. And we are delighted to welcome Mr. Pranjal Pratim Borah, who is the Manager, Social Sector Specialist SPMU, State Project Management Unit, PMFME Cell, AIDC, Assam Industrial Development Corporation Limited. Welcome, sir, once again.
Thank you.
Sir, why don't we start with a little introduction of you, your background, and your service in your words?
Sure. Okay. So thank you. May I know your name?
Yes, sir. This is Joyshri Padgiri. I'm from the outreach team of Advancing Northeast.
Thank you, Joyshri. So at the very outset, I'd like to thank the team Advanced Northeast for inviting me today, and I hope I'll be instrumental in achieving the underlying objectives of today's discussion. So because you have already give my introduction, so I would just like to reiterate that my name is Pranjal Pratim Borah, and presently I'm serving as the Manager Social Sector Specialist of the State Project Management Unit of Assam Industrial Development Corporation Limited. So regarding my brief, if I may say, history. Regarding my history, I did my master's in social work, and I started my career in Assam State Rural Livelihood Mission Society. So after that, I joined academics and I served in Dibrugarh University as an assistant professor for 9 years. And in 2021, I joined AIDC in the State Project Management Unit of the PMFME Cell. So I basically has been in academics and also in the field development sector as well. So in 2021, I joined the state team of AIDC, which is currently like positioned to implement the scheme, the Pradhan Mantri Formalisation of the Micro Food Processing Enterprises Scheme. So that is me in a nugget. So I think that I have been associated with developmental activities. While in academics as well, I was involved in the fieldwork activities, or like I was with my students doing work at the field. At the same time, herein also, this is directly related to contributing to the development of the society at large. So yes, I'm in the development field for the last 10 to 11 years, and presently I'm positioned in AIDC.
Yes, sir. Beautiful introduction. So talking of development and also the scheme, which is our primary concern of the talk today. So, sir, a little description of what the scheme is and what it incorporates and everything. Why don't you break it down, sir? Yes.
Yes, sure. So the first thing is that this is a scheme which is being implemented by the Ministry of Food Processing Industries, MOPI. So before getting into or diving into the concept of, or you may say the benefits or the other components of the scheme, so I believe that it is important to understand the importance of this particular food processing sector, which has a huge potential to contribute to the overall economy of the nation. So having said that, you see that the food economy or of the nation, it directly represents the cultural, regional, and agricultural diversity of the nation. Or if you look into the food map of the entire nation, it reflects the past civilization history as well. So I believe that considering all these elements, it is very imperative and it is very obvious that it has got a huge potential that can contribute to the overall economy of the nation. And having said that, in the last 5 years, in the last 5 financial years, ending 2019-20, as per statistics, the growth of the food processing sector is remarkable, and it has shown growth at about 11.93 average percentage in the last 5 years. And also, it is contributing to the gross value added in different sectors, in the manufacturing sector and in the agricultural sector as well. So, considering all this prospect, we may come to a common belief that it has a huge potential. It is actually creating number of opportunities in number of domains. So, this is something that we have to look into as something that has huge scope to create employability, and something that can create entrepreneurship amidst people. So, okay, so having said that, you see that out of the many sectors that contribute to the overall food processing sector, one of the prime sector is the micro food processing sector. Now, when I say micro food processing sector, I am specifically speaking about sectors whose annual turnover does not exceed 5 crore and whose annual investment do not exceed 1 crore. So that is the micro definition which has been given by the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. So you see that our scheme mostly try to address the people who are associated with the micro food processing sector, or you may say that those people who are entrepreneurs and whose entrepreneurship is related to producing food processed products and a related business. Then we try to bring those people within the periphery of this our scheme and provide the benefits that it offers. So now, one thing herein we need to understand is that in the micro food processing sector, at least 25 lakhs of the micro food processing enterprises, they are in a very unformalized state. Now, when I say unformalized, or when I say that they are not formalized, I mean that they do not have the support or the necessary registration which is required to make them a legal entity. For example, when whatever you see, whatever enterprise that we form, it is mandatory that we get registered. One of the objective of getting registered is that it makes us a legal entity, and at the same time it makes us it's help us to be in a position wherein we can avail the benefits, different benefits of the government from time to time. Secondly, once it becomes a legal entity, then it directly somehow contributes to the economy of the nation, and that contribution can be calculated. So that is why you see that formalization part is very important. But having said that, I'm going to repeat it once again that in the overall micro food processing enterprise seen in the nation, around 25 lakhs of those enterprises are in an unformalized state. And out of those unformalized enterprises, around more than 60% they reside in the rural areas. So now the thing is that if we are speaking about an entrepreneur who is very well off, suppose we consider a businessman who has, suppose, food processing related activities or business. So he is well off. He has the money to hire people. He has the money to hire a consultant. He has the money to hire skilled people. In that case scenario, if he or she wants to expand his or her business, then obviously he is going to recruit those people whom he or she can hire and mobilize them to achieve his target. For example, if he wants to have a loan from bank, then a detailed project report is mandatory. So preparation of detailed project report is a very technical kind of thing. So a common layman do not have the necessary skill or the knowledge to prepare it. But if someone has the riches, if someone has the money, then obviously he or she will hire people who can, on his behalf, is going to make the DPR and send it to the bank. And if subsequently the loan might get sanctioned, and on the basis of the loan amount, he is going to further expand the business, which is going to increase his turnover as well and increase his profitability. But what about those 25 lakhs micro enterprises which are in a very unformalized state? those people who are in a very minuscule way or in a very miniature way are doing their business, what will be their position? Because they also have a dream to start something new. They also have a dream to start their own business. They also have a dream to like process the products that they sow in the field and give them the shape of finished product. So what about them? So obviously they do not have the riches, they do not have the money to hire a consultant, because hiring a consultant is a very wealthy affair. Because you see that it costs much in terms of the finances, or you may say the networks and all, which are not normally available to the those people who I'm referring to as the unformalized micro food processing entrepreneurs. So now you see that in order to address the issues that they confront, which normally ranges from high cost of institutional credit, that ranges from, you may say, lack of access to modern technology, or you may say that it ranges from unskilled manpower, or you may say that they do not have the technical know-how, or you may say that they do not have the awareness about food safety and standards, or one may say that they do not have the marketing and the branding knowledge, which is very important nowadays, because producing a product is not, it doesn't suffice. One need to go beyond that. One need to market those products, sell them, earn profit, invest, and again expand their business. And normally those people do not have access to this kind of facilities, and these are some of the limitations or challenges that they encounter. So now the point is that in order to counter those problems, or you may say that in order to provide a solution, or you may say a very comprehensive solution to the issues the unformalized, or you may say the micro food processing enterprises in our nation they face, the central government in the year 2020, during the onset of this pandemic, uh, launched a scheme called Pradhan Mantri Formalisation of Micro Food Processing Enterprises Scheme in June 2020. So this scheme is all about addressing the issues or the problems, or to provide support to any business that the micro food processing entrepreneurs want to have, or already have, or they are now intending to expand.
Mhm.
So this is basically the idea for introducing the scheme, which is a centrally sponsored scheme. It is almost implemented in all the states of India, in Assam also. So likewise in Assam also. So that is a brief about, you may say, or you may say the background about introducing this particular scheme.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, like you said, that the food processing sector is ever expanding now. More and more people are joining it and they're becoming more aware of it. And so, this is very important for them to know that, how to start and how to begin with everything and to make it legalized and everything. So, yes, that was a very clear and apt description of the scheme. So, moving ahead, we would also like to know, sir, who is eligible? Who else is eligible for the scheme?
Okay. So now the thing is that I just gave you the background, or you may say that the idea behind introducing the scheme.
Mm.
So now you see that the scheme is a very comprehensive scheme. When I am using the term comprehensive, I'm trying to suggest that it has got number of benefits to offer to the people at large. So now you see that this scheme, as I have already told you, is meant for the micro food processing enterprises. Or you may say that the micro enterprises which are currently dealing with food processing activities. So now the thing is that this scheme, as I've already told you, has many benefits. And having said that, you may like assume, or you may presume that the scheme is like a big tree that bears different fruits. Okay. So the first fruit or the first benefit that we may refer to is the benefit of seed capital. Okay. So the benefit of seed capital is exclusively for women, or more precisely women who are involved in SSGs, self-help groups. For example, if at the individual level you're a part of an SSG, or at the group level, if you want to avail this particular benefit of seed capital, then you can avail the same from the scheme. And this particular benefit is mostly about, you see, mostly about trying to help the women SSG members to start their business, or you may say to cater the working capital needs of their business. So in this particular component, you see, a sum up to rupees 40,000 is being provided to SSG members both at individual and group level. Okay, and it is like it is anticipated that they invest the amount in meeting their working capital needs, or by purchasing some of the miniature kind of machineries. For example, they can go purchasing a mixer grinder, or they can purchase or a small utensil in which they can dry their products. So you see that this is a kind of a capital which is provided to the SSG members to motivate them to enter into the field of growth enterprises. The concept is that 40,000 is a meager amount, and using that amount, one cannot start a business. But the point of giving that capital or that amount is that the government is trying to inspire and motivate the existing enterprises who are like functioning at the SSG level, at both individual and group level, to take a step further and transform themselves into growth enterprises. So you see that the first benefit, again, I'm trying to reiterate, is the benefit of seed capital. It is exclusively for SSG members, both at individual and group level, and a sum up to rupees 40,000 is provided to them. So till now, we have many seed capital beneficiaries from Assam State Rural Livelihood Mission Society, and also from Assam State Urban Livelihood Mission Society as well. So this is the first benefit that the scheme is offering. So now moving ahead, you see that this is just the beginning, or you may say that seed capital is the low-hanging fruit of the big fruit of the big tree that bears different kind of fruits, or you may say different kind of benefits. The overall tree is the PMFME scheme. So now the question is that when we speak about a business or the idea of starting a business or expanding a business, there are certain elements or factors that cannot be denied. Or you may say there are certain elements that we need to consider. So the first thing that we have to consider while trying to like thinking about starting a business is the factor of capital, or you may say the element of capital, because without capital no business can survive or no business can start. So you see that regarding providing capital also, the scheme is giving its own benefit. So now regarding this particular component, I need to dig into some of the concepts. So the first thing is that you see that when I'm speaking about the micro food processing enterprises, I'm speaking about mostly the people who are not formalized. So our objective is to formalize them. So now see, those people, whenever they need money to start a business, or you may say they need money to expand their business, what they normally do is that if they normally go and talk to their relatives, they go and talk to their spouses that I need money to start a particular business. They go to the private money lenders, and at the end of the day, if nothing works, they normally go to the financial institutions seeking a loan. So now the point is that when they approach the bank, if they find that the person has a good credit history, he has a good credit score, he or she is not a defaulter in the past, then the concerned bank is going to provide him or her loan. But the point is that the cost of institutional credit is mostly high, that we all know. Considering the interest rate or the EMIs, sometimes the burden is too much for a micro food processing entrepreneur. So in that context, you see that our scheme tries to provide 35% credit link subsidy to the loan which is being availed by the entrepreneur. So I'll repeat once again that regarding the notion or the position of providing support in terms of providing capital, our scheme tries to give 35% credit link subsidy, which is back-ended. I will explain what back-ended is. 35% credit link subsidy on the overall loan amount, which is being provided by the bank. Now, having said that, we need to understand that when a bank provides or sanctions a particular loan, the loan is being sanctioned based on a detailed project report, which is mandatorily need to be submitted by the entrepreneur. Now you see that when we speak about detailed project report, it has basically got two parts. One is the capital expenditure part and one is the working capital. So those people who do not understand what is capital expenditure, I'd just like to explain it in brief that capital expenditure is the expenses that you propose for your business, which is related to purchasing machineries and creating long-term assets. For example, if you want to start a pickle making enterprise, so obviously you will need machines, correct? You'll need a dryer, you'll need a mixer, then you will need a sealing machine, for example. I'm just giving an example. So you see that you need to purchase those things. At the same time, you need to also install those machines in a particular safe position that they do not get affected by rain or other natural substances. So in that case, what we need is that sometimes we also need to go for minor civil construction as well. It can be a tin shed, it can be a flooring activity, or it can be a minor construction. So when you try to propose starting a new business or expanding a new business, so you need to propose the expenses to the particular bank in the form of a DPR, detailed project. So when you are proposing the expenses related to the machinery and the minor civil construction or the civil construction part, that particular financial part comes within the capital expenditure part of the detailed project report. Okay. So now you see that in order to run a business, purchasing machinery or civil construction is not sufficient or it doesn't suffice. Sometimes we also need money to buy raw materials. We need money to recruit people who can help you in your processing activities. You also need money for your traveling expenses or your day-to-day expenses. And these kind of expenses are clubbed together and they are being termed as working capital. Okay. So capital expenditure and working capital, they amalgamately take the shape of the overall detailed project report. So in our scheme, when I'm saying that we are providing 35% credit link subsidy on the loan which is being sanctioned by the bank, I'm referring to the capital expenditure part of the DPR. For example, if your detailed project report, you're proposing an amount of 10 lakhs for your business. You're submitting the proposal to the bank. So out of those 10 lakhs, you have dissected that 10 lakhs in two parts. Suppose 6 lakhs for capital expenditure and 4 lakhs for working capital. So you will get credit link subsidy, which is 35% on the capital expenditure part. And referring to my example, you will get the same on the 6 lakhs rupees that you have proposed. Okay. So you see that, can you just pause this video just for 1 second?
Okay, sure. Sir.
Will that
I'll resume.
So as I was saying that the 35% credit link subsidy is given on the capital expenditure part of the detailed project report. Okay. So now the thing is that once the loan is sanctioned, then in due course of time, the ministry is going to provide the subsidy amount to the concerned branch, and the branch is going to create a mirror account in the name of the entrepreneur and park the amount for 3 years. I hope you're getting my point.
Yes, sir.
You see, hello?
Yes, sir.
Voice audible? Okay.
Yes, go on.
So what I'm referring to is that, okay. So what I'm saying is that once the loan is sanctioned, okay. So now the bank is going to see that the capital what is the capital expenditure which is being proposed by the entrepreneur, and on the basis of that, the subsidy amount will be calculated. So once the loan is sanctioned, the ministry is going to disburse the subsidy amount to the concerned branch in batches. So once that happens, once the branch receives the subsidy amount, they park the amount in the mirror account of the entrepreneur, not the saving account or loan account of the entrepreneur. Okay. So you see that subject to regular payment of EMIs and good functioning of the unit. After 3 years, that subsidy amount from the mirror account will be adjusted either in the loan account or saving account of the entrepreneur. So you see, the idea behind doing is that sometimes, most of the times, the subsidy that government gives, they are misappropriated. They are being channeled in a different way. So to ensure that whatever money is being provided by the government, whatever assistance is being provided by the government, it is being channelized in the right direction, and people use the money in the spirit of the scheme. This notion of parking the amount for 3 years and verifying the unit from time to time, making sure that the unit is operational and functional, this option is being provided. This is not an option, this is a mandatory part of the overall technical process. So this thing is being incorporated in the overall fund flow process of this particular scheme. So this is about the kind of support the scheme is trying to offer in terms of the capital. Because as I've already told you, the capital is a prerequisite. It is important for any business. So when people normally speak about getting capital, they normally approach the bank give them loan. So in that regard, we are trying to provide 35% crediting subsidy on the capital expenditure part of the DPR, which has been provided to the bank. Okay, not on the working capital. So this is how we are trying to help the entrepreneurs in terms of helping them levy the burden of the loan that they are taking from the bank. So that is one of the prime benefits the scheme is offering. Now, having said that, one thing that we need to notice that in our scheme, the maximum amount of subsidy that a person can get is up to rupees 10 lakhs. Okay. For example, if someone is seeking a loan for about 70 lakhs, okay, and suppose in the 70 lakhs, around 50 lakhs or 60 lakhs, he is proposing for the capital expenditure part for purchasing machineries or minor civil construction. So regarding that, you see that 35% it goes beyond 10 lakhs. If we calculate the subsidy, it goes beyond 10 lakhs. But in our scheme, the maximum upper ceiling in terms of providing subsidy is up to 10 lakhs. So that is something that we need to understand and know. So that is one part of looking into the different factors that is required to start a business. The second important component or a second important element which normally people require is the requirement of skill, or you may say the skill of knowledge. For example, I have the capital, I purchase the raw material, suppose. I have the machinery, but I do not have the technical know-how. So that is not going to help me go anywhere in due course of time. So obviously those people needs to be trained. Those people should be given an opportunity to build their capacity, or you may say to get the required skill to run the business. So in that context also, our scheme is providing this support for capacity building and training. Okay. So if there are certain conditions I'll refer to, that if someone is willing to have the capacity building and training opportunities the scheme is offering, but the prerequisites for availing this benefit is, number one, that person needs to be a seed capital beneficiary. Herein I just need to add is that what happens is that regarding seed capital, SRLM, State Rural Livelihood Mission, and ESULM, Urban Livelihood Mission, what they do is that they send the list of existing enterprises from their SSGs to our organization, to AIDC. And having said that, AIDC is the state nodal agency for the implementation of the scheme in Assam. Assam Industrial Development Corporation Limited is the state nodal agency, and Department of Industries, Commerce and Public Enterprises is the state nodal department for the implementation of the scheme. So these two things I didn't mention earlier, so I'm mentioning now. The state nodal department for the implementation of the PMFME scheme in Assam is the Department of Industries, Commerce and Public Enterprises, and Assam Industrial Development Corporation Limited is the state nodal agency for the implementation of the PMFME scheme in Assam. Okay. So what I was telling is that SULM and SRLM, they send the list of their micro food processing enterprises to the SNA, which is AIDC Limited. So what AIDC does is that AIDC verify the entities, because like sometimes we call them up and we see that some are not actually doing food processing activities but other related activities. So a round of verification is done. So after they are verified, we send the list to the competent authority for release of the seed capital. So the first category of people who can avail this capacity building and training are the approved seed capital beneficiaries. Okay, those seed capital beneficiaries whose lists are being sent to us and we have approved them, those people can be given capacity building and training. And that training is particularly provided on enterprise development and also on the technical aspects related to food processing. Okay. The second category are the people who are being approved by DLC for loan sanction. Okay, so herein we need to understand one thing, that the entire application process in the PMFME scheme is done online. The entire process from registration. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir. It is audible.
Okay.
There was a glitch, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So I was telling you that the entire process of application in the PMFME scheme, it is online. From application registration to loan section, everything is done online. So herein we need to understand one thing, that once the application is submitted, okay, it automatically goes to a stage called DRP stage. And DRP, the full form of DRP is the district resource person. So what is district resource person is that, you see, if you see the overall structure of the PMFME scheme, you will see that we have the ministry at the top. Then at the top, we also have the National Project Management Unit, which we term as NPMU. That is at the national level. Under the ministry, we have the NPMU. Then down below at the state level, we have the SNA and SPMU. I am a member of the SPMU, State Project Management Unit. So down below the SPMU, we have the district nodal office, or you may say the district nodal points. So in Assam, all the district industries and commerce center, DICCs, are the district nodal points for this particular scheme, or you may say the PMFME scheme. So you see the ZM DICCs, General Manager of DICCs, they are being positioned as the district nodal officer of that respective district for the PMFME scheme. So you see that under the DICCs or the district nodal points or offices, there are a number of DRPs which work for that particular district. DRP means district resource person. And the prime responsibility of the DRP is to handhold the entrepreneurs throughout the application process, from identification to mobilization to application registration to preparation of DPR to sanction of loan, follow up with bank, to getting necessary registrations, for example, FSI registration, for example, window registration, and if applicable, GST registration. Okay, so this entire responsibility at the field level mostly vests on the our district resource person. Okay, so this is basically the structure of the PMFME scheme. Now coming back to the online application process, I told you that once the application is submitted, it will automatically go to the DRP stage, district resource person. So what happens is that at the DRP stage, the district resource person will have his or her own login credentials and password. He's going to log in. Then he's going to see the application which is being submitted. And if he or she finds that it is a viable project, then he is going to forward the application to the DLC level, district level committee level. So you see that in all districts, there is a DLC, district level committee, which is being chaired by the deputy commissioner of that respective district. And the ZMDICC is normally the secretary to that particular committee. So you see that once the applications go to the DLC take note of again, they have their own login ID and credentials. They log in, they see the application, and if they see that the application is viable or it has the potential to get sanctioned, then they forward the application to the concerned bank. The bank details the entrepreneur need to submit while filling up the form or applying online. Okay, so once it goes to the bank again has their own specific login ID and password. They're going to view the application. And if they see that the application is fine, it is viable, it has the potential to generate good profit, then they're going to sanction it. And if otherwise, they are going to reject. And if the application is rejected by the first bank, it automatically goes to the second bank. Because you see, during the application process, there is a provision of entering the bank details of two banks. Okay. If the application is rejected by the first bank, it automatically goes to the second. So this is the entire application process, from the application submission to DRP stage to DLC stage to bank stage. So now I'm again coming to the capacity building and training component. I have told you the first category are the approved seed capital beneficiaries. So they can be given this particular benefit. The second category are those entrepreneurs or those applicants whose applications are forwarded from the DLC level to the bank level. You're getting my point? That those applications which the DLC approved, that they are fine, and now they can be sent to the bank. That capacity building and training can be provided to those applicants or those entrepreneurs. Okay. The third category are those entrepreneurs whose loans are sanctioned by the bank. Okay. So if someone belongs to these three categories, then they can avail the capacity building and training benefit from the scheme. Okay. So this is basically about the second benefit that the scheme is offering. The third benefit is the benefit of marketing and branding. Okay. Because you see that we have the capital, we have purchased the raw material, we have the machinery. Okay. Now we have the technical know-how as well. Now we know what to do with the raw materials, how to process them, how to make the finished product. So what next? The next, of course, is the capacity of the entrepreneur to market and brand their products. So regarding that particular factor, what the scheme is offering. So you see the scheme is offering this marketing and branding benefit, but not to individuals, but to groups. It can be group of SSGs, it can be group of FPOs, farmer producer organizations, it can be cooperatives, or it can be some special purpose vehicle SPV of micro food processing enterprises. Okay, so if someone is comes within the purview of these categories, I mean groups of SSGs, FPOs, or you may say cooperatives or SPVs, or at the cluster level, then they can apply for this particular support from our scheme. So in this particular support, what we do is that, again, regarding marketing and branding, the concerned whoever the party is or that agency is, they need to submit a DPR, digital project report, herein also. Because again, you see in the digital project report, they have to narrate everything that what they are intending to do, or how they are actually thinking about marketing and branding their product, from promotional to all the products that is required. So based on that, they have to estimate an amount and they have to submit the same in the form of an DPR. So whatever the amount is, the scheme provides 55% subsidy. If it is 1 year, the cost of the overall branding and marketing, if it is 1 year, then 50 lakhs will be provided by the scheme. So this is how we are trying to provide the marketing and branding support in this scheme as well. Actually, so that is about the marketing and branding benefit that we are offering. So herein, one thing that we need to understand is that when this scheme started, we had this concept of one district, one product. So therein, it was said that if someone is trying to start a new enterprise, then product has to be related to the one district, one product. For example, in Kamrup Metro, it is fruit and vegetable. So if you're an entrepreneur who is trying to start a new business in food processing activity, then you have to think about starting processing in fruit and vegetable only. If you're an existing, then there was no bar. But later on, it was relaxed. That means any product can be entertained as the product for food processing. So that was earlier, this was the notion. So now you see that when we speak about marketing and branding, why it is not being provided to individuals but to groups. The idea is that if we try to market and brand each and everyone, then there will be competition in the even in the grassroots level. Suppose if we are speaking about SSG people coming out as entrepreneurs. Suppose I am producing pickle, The next household, in my neighbor, he or she is also producing pickle. The next one is also producing pickle. So as a consumer, you will be in a dilemma. That what are you going to choose? Whose product are you going to choose? So obviously you will choose someone who has already a predominance in the marketing and branding arena. For example, you are going to choose Nissan, or you are going to choose some other good brands. I may say existing brands at the national level. So it was then thought that if you can club all these people together and then provide them marketing and branding benefit, then it will be more beneficial to them. And one more thing is that it will ensure the quality of the product as well. Because if you brand them together, then obviously you will ensure that your product has a particular taste, or the quality of packaging, or the quality of the product, it will be of a particular standard. So if you are trying to be a part of that particular brand marketing and branding group, then obviously you have to stand by what the standard is. So that is the basic idea why it is not yet being provided to individuals, and why it is being provided to people who are at the group level or at the cluster level. So the final benefit which the scheme offers is the benefit of common infrastructure. Okay. So under common infrastructure, we have two particular components. One is the common facility center, which we refer to as the CFC, and we have the incubation center. Okay. So if some groups, FPOs or SSGs at the federation level or at the cluster level, or if some cooperative or government agency, they are willing to set up an incubation center or a cold storage or a warehouse or a testing laboratory, then they can apply for this particular support under the scheme. So in this particular component, what we do is that we provide 35% subsidy to the overall project cost. Okay. And herein, having said that, the maximum project cost which is eligible for entities to apply for this particular scheme is up to 10 CR. That means the project cost cannot go beyond 10 CR, and the maximum subsidy that the people can have is up to 3 CR. So till now, Tezpur University already got an incubation center sanction from the ministry, and it is currently functional. Few more are in the pipeline. So this is basically about the common infrastructure facility or support which is being provided by the scheme. So now you see that when we speak about business, from the capital to the technical know-how to the marketing and branding, and even storages as well, or incubation center facilities like incubation center as well, everything is being provided under the scheme. So that is why I have referred to this scheme as a very comprehensive scheme that is offering multiple benefits and support to the micro food enterprises or entrepreneurs. So this is basically about the benefits that the scheme is offering. So regarding the eligibility, regarding the seed capital, they need to be a part of an SSG, either at the individual level or group level. For this credit link subsidy component, 35% credit link subsidy, for that users need to be of 18 years of age, minimum 18 years of age. That is the only eligibility. For the common infrastructure and marketing and branding, I've already told you that you need to be operating at the group level. That means you need to be group of SSGs or FPOs or cooperatives or government agencies, and you can apply for these particular benefits. So this is basically about the different benefits the scheme is offering. So yes. Hello, your voice is not audible. I think it is.
Yes. Okay. Am I audible now, sir?
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. That was, I think, the very detailed description. Everything you covered, everything you highlighted, all the important points, starting from the benefits, and also it's a very empowering scheme, considering women SHGs and everybody the eligible ones, and also how hand holding and every kind of support is provided under it. So they didn't need to worry until and unless they have they fall under the criteria. And so yes, sir. I think that the audience must have been really benefited from all the descriptions. Are any other points which you might like to highlight?
Yes, one thing as I just wanted to, because you see the time is short and it's a more time to explain the other attributes of the scheme as well, but still, you see that the name of the scheme is Pradhan Mantri Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises. So when we understand what is food processing, now we understand what is micro. I have already told you. So when I say formalization, it basically can be dissected in two parts. One part is that having or enabling the particular entrepreneur get the credit link facility from the bank. Okay, that means credit from the bank, because without capital they cannot prosper. So once they will get the loan, then from our end, if it is being processed through our scheme, then they will get 35% subsidy. The second part is getting them necessary registrations, because I have already told you that normally they do not have the awareness about food safety and standards or the need for getting necessary registrations. So once the unit is operational, once the unit is grounded, then the second part of the formalization begins. That means getting them entitled to the required registrations. It can be Udyam registration, it has to be FSI registration, and if applicable, it will be GST registration as well. So giving them institutional support, financial institutional support, and getting them necessary registration. They together combine and take the shape of this formalization word which we have incorporated in the scheme. So that is something that I wanted to like reiterate, because whenever we normally see formalization, what are we actually trying to suggest? So we are trying to suggest that we need to first give them the money to start their business, let the business begin, and once it begins, we need to ensure that they become a legal entity by getting necessary registrations.
Yes, sir,
Okay.
absolutely. So the groundwork is very, very essential. So any message you want to share for the aspiring, the aspiring ones who are really working hard for this, towards this sector, but they are not still very aware of all these things. So any message, sir, for them?
So I always believe that coming together is the beginning, keeping together is the progress, and working together is the success. So what I see is that as I have been involved in this scheme since the last 1.5 years, and I have seen people, I have seen potential beneficiaries from the grassroots level now expanding into growth enterprises. Yesterday only I visited Nalbari, and I visited one of our beneficiaries, Harman Borman. So initially, he was an existing enterprise. He was processing mustard oil. So later on, he came to know about the scheme. He applied. He got the loan sanction, and now he was asking me, "Sir, I want to further expand my business. So I want to now set up a machine. It will cost me about 1.25 CR. So whether the scheme can again give me benefit. So that is a different aspect. So what I'm trying to suggest is that see the like the trend of his growth. From a minuscule to a miniature enterprise to now an established enterprise, now thinking about enhancing the capacity of his business as well. So first thing is that in Assam particularly, we have this livelihood psyche still instilled in our mind. People are working at the livelihood level. But whenever we speak about business, then what happens is that, oh, business is not my cup of tea. Business is something that we are not acquainted with. It is for people from Gujarat, it is for people from Maharashtra, but not from Assam. So we need to change that psyche. We need to have the courage to plunge into this world of business, get benefits from scheme like PMFME, and start his or her own entrepreneurship journey. I believe AIDC today, Department of Industries, Commerce and Public Enterprises, Advancing Northeast U as an institution, everyone is cumulatively or together trying to help people who are actually trying to help themselves. So I'm just asking them, come out of your shell. You think, meet us. Our contact point is Assam Industrial Development Corporation Limited. Even in your own district, you can visit your district industries and commerce center. You go, please visit them, get to know about the scheme, start an idea, discuss with us, and we will be instrumental for your growth. And we believe that we'll be instrumental for your growth in each and every phase. So that is my appeal to the youth, to the people who are actually watching this video now, that try to have the courage to think out of the box. Just try to believe that you have the resources, you have the capacity to start your own business. Please dive into the micro food processing enterprises sector, because it has got ample opportunities to offer. So I believe that together we can achieve what you are trying to achieve at your individual level. So that is
Yes.
my message for whoever is watching this video now.
Very, very
So,
motivating words. And I'm so sure the youth who are watching, they are being, pushed towards making an actual change and progress. Like you said, Ki, you need to make the change, right? And you need to start
and one
somewhere.
more thing, sorry for interrupting,
Yes,
regarding the
sir.
PMFME, yes, in the Google users just need to search PMFME. The first link that you create, you can click it there. It will directly take you to the PMFME main portal. So therein you can have a look at the different components, the guidelines and everything related to the scheme. You just need to type PMFME in the Google and then click the first link that you have. And further, if you have any queries, so you can, I'll also try to give you two numbers that you can note down.
Yes.
Just give me 1 second.
Everyone watching can note down.
Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Yes, the number is, one number is 0361 220 1241,
Yes.
and there is another mobile number. I'd like you to have it. Just give me 1 sec. Sorry for the I'll just give you. You can pause the video, I think. I'll just give you the number. So the other number is 84539 17779. 84539 17779. So you can also call in this number for any kind of help, or you may also consult your own district industries and commerce center, or if you're based in Kamrup Metro, you may visit AIDC Limited. So this is about the context about for our scheme. Okay.
Yes, sir. I think that would do. That would be really helpful. Like everything, whoever is watching us, our audience can surely contact. Sir has already shared the contact numbers, and we'll also put along the contact numbers for your convenience again, so that it's helpful for you. So they're available, and you can just drop in there. And also, Advancing Northeast, our portal also has schemes and policies segment under the entrepreneurship section. So you can just go on the website and head on to the entrepreneurship section, and then click on industries and commerce, and under that you can put on the state name, and then you can go to the schemes and policies section, and there everything will be available to you right in your hands about the scheme, about the PMFME scheme and the DPR, and everything is available there. So you can just head on there. So yes, that would do. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for being here and gracing us with your presence. This was really a very, very informative session. Hope to have more collaborations in the future. Thank you, sir.